Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Krishna Rukmini Jayo Satyabhama Krishna Rukmini Jayo Satyabhama Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shata But His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita ki Sai Gaur Premanand Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita, Chapter 4, Text number 31. Ayam lokosti ajagnasya kutonya kuru sattama. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta. Translation. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Purport. Whatever form of material existence one is in, one is invariably ignorant of his self position. In other words, existence in the material world is due to the multiple reactions to our sinful lives. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, and sinful life is the cause of one's dragging on in material existence. The human form of life is the only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. The Vedas therefore give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last the means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. The path of religion or the different kinds of sacrifice recommended above automatically solves our economic problems. By performance of yajna, we can have enough food, enough milk, etc., even if there is a so called increase of population. When the body is fully supplied, naturally the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe, therefore, sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. Thereby, one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage. And the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. Perfection is achieved by performance of yajna, sacrifice, as prescribed, as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yajna according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life? There are different grades of material comforts in different heavenly planets, and in all cases, there is immense happiness for persons engaged different kinds of yajna. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planets by practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. Thus end the Bhakti Ved. Now we are reading Bhagavad Gita. What is the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita? There are 5 subject matters. What are the 5 subject matters? Ishvara, Shiva, nature, Kala, and Karma. There are 5 subject matter. In this, Krishna is saying, without sacrifice, one can never live happily. So the sacrifice is the act of our activity. The activity. There's 5 subject matter. That one is activity. So we have to do activity. What kind of activity? Sacrifice. Sacrifice means, what is sacrifice means? We have to do something for the cause of other consideration. So if we don't do, like for example, there is a person who works in the city, but his family is staying in the village. So he goes weekly once or monthly once to meet them and come back for work. So this kind of sacrifice, emotional relation sacrifice he is doing. So it's a must for economic development. He has to survive, he has to do. This is basically for existence, bodily existence. So if we don't do sacrifice, we cannot live in this world, right? Similarly, the next life we can choose what kind of sacrifice we do. Based on that, we can choose next life. So if we don't sacrifice for the purpose of our soul, then all automatically we will be forced sacrifice we have to do for our material body. So the main thing sacrifice in this Bhagavad Gita is whole theme of Bhagavad Gita based on sacrifice. Third chapter, Krishna is explaining about sacrifice. Now, this like previous verses also, there are verses after verse. We are seeing the sacrifices, acts of sacrifice. Even in 6th chapter, and Prabhupada mentions almost all the chapters of Bhagavad Gita except 1 or 2. Most of the chapters in purport, Prabhupada mentions about sacrifice. In 16th chapter, sacrifice is mentioned as divine quality. And in 17th chapter, there are 3 qualities, 3 modes of sacrifice. And in the 18th chapter also, what the transcendental do, they don't give up sacrifice. So all these things are mentioned. So sacrifice is a theme of Bhagavad Gita. Why it's a theme of Bhagavad Gita? Because Arjuna in the beginning he started explaining about is not inclined to fight, because he had his perception of his moral principles, own uh, understanding of existence, own understanding of good and bad, all these things. So Krishna started speaking about the soul, the beginning. Then, based on the soul, Krishna is explaining what is bodily sacrifices and what is spiritual sacrifice. So, indirectly, many times we say that indirect sacrifices and direct sacrifices. So, sometimes Krishna is indirectly says, sometimes directly. He finally comes to the conclusion saying that directly that you should sacrifice, you should fight for the cause of dharma, like that. Basically, you want to make Arjuna to fight for the dharma. So, when we there are sacrifices, as I mentioned, material sacrifice. When we sacrifice, we feel pain because of ego and because of some existential issues. But in the spiritual platform, when we do feel sacrifice, when we do sacrifice, we feel that there is a self realization. We come to the level of self realization. So it's it's best that take spiritual sacrifice. So what are the spiritual sacrifices? What are the spiritual sacrifices? Whatever Guru says, we have to do, because we don't know what is good, what is bad. Sacrifice we have to do. So many things in our mind keep going. Our own perception, own conception, everything goes on. So we are in the situation in this world, we don't know what good. There comes the importance of Guru. We have to take guidance from Guru. So in the this one is the Vedas, as Prabhupada mentioned here, there are four kinds of activities: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So, at present, most of us don't know what is dharma. So, we engage only in the artha, economic development, and sense gratification. So, without dharma, without practicing dharma, there is no question of liberation. That is moksha. So, what is dharma? Dharma means dharma means right, religious codes. Who can give that religious codes? Krishna can give, and Guru. Mahajana Enakatasya Banta. Mahajanas can give. So, what Prabhupada is given, like for example, a person is tied, hands, legs, everything tied. How can he free himself? Somebody has to come and open. Suppose that person come to know in that room there is one glass of one knife or a piece of glass. What he will do? Somehow try to go and somehow he'll cut and free himself and get out of that place. So like that, Prabhupada is giving, here it is mentioned, the human form is a only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. So that person, how he tied, somehow he has to cut and escaping, right? Similarly, Prabhupada has given a very, very, very important sacrifice. What sacrifice it is? Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Now Prabhupada is teaching us. What is that sacrifice? Nama Sankirtana. So Nama Sankirtana is a loophole for getting out of this entanglement of material existence. So by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you can get out of this material world. How to chant? So now some match is going on. I'll watch chanting Hare Krishna Mantra. Or some serial is going. So I'll watch and keep. Anyway, I have to complete. Is it so? Is a way to do that. Chanting and hearing. Prabhupada, we have to sacrifice, right? What kind of sacrifice? When we are chanting, should just focus on the sacrifices, sacrifice our thinking, sacrifice our feeling, and just be in the present. How many of us want to be happy in life? How to be happy? Prasannatma. How to be Prasannatma? Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Should not think about the past and worry. Not think about future and hanker. So thinking past will be worry. Thinking about future also will be worrying. So how to be happy? Act in the present. So when we do chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Our past, what and all happened, what's going to happen, all these things not be thinking about the chanting. That is a perfect form of sacrifice. Sankirtana Yagna. We do that Sankirtana Yagna very, very meticulously, being in the present and chanting attentively. Attentively means what? What does attentive means? Consciously, you focus on the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Suppose some recording is somebody is chanting next to me. So can I hear is this? Anyway, we have to chant and hear. So I'll chant along with him, and whatever he chants, he's chanting loudly. Can I hear his voice? Can he hear his voice? We should chant our we should chant, and whatever we pronounce, the mantra, whatever comes out of our tongue, our mouth, that we should hear. That is meditation. That is concentration. So when we do, that is a perfect sacrifice. This is by pronouncing that, using our tongue, engaging our this one. And what kind of sacrifice otherwise we can do? We go and work very hard. And how many of you not sacrificing in life, day to day life? So many consideration will be there. The family members, you have to adjust. You have to keep going. And I may desire something, it may not happen. To adjust and go. The life, the sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice we can do for our betterment, to realize I am not the body, I'm a spirit soul. For that, every day, whatever we do, our activity, it has to be spiritualized. How? Suppose somebody is cooking, so you have to have a consciousness. Anyway, we have to do sacrifice for others' sake. Sacrifice, I am cooking for Krishna. Stop thinking that I am cooking for him and my comfort is at the stake. So I am still disturbed. Otherwise, one maid is there, she will be cooking. Better than then that is sacrifice, right? So better than that, when you are cooking with a very bad intention, somehow I forced, I have to do it. That kind of sacrifice, like a material sacrifice, do very happily by thinking that this I am doing for the satisfaction. I am cooking for Krishna, and that will be offered to Krishna. That I will take as a prasadam. That is spiritual sacrifice. And I go and do some work outside. I earn good amount of money or some money. Somehow I'll come offer to Krishna. This is spiritual sacrifice. Hearing and pronouncing and tasting, to act with our senses, activity and thinking, feeling, in many ways, to activities, action. All this thing has to be served as a sacrifice. Sacrifice means sacrifice means doing for others' sake, doing for others other consideration. For I leave my consideration. for others' consideration. So whole Bhagavad Gita is based on this sacrifice. Like Arjuna was sacrificing, asked to sacrifice, was having different opinion that I don't want fight. Krishna is forcing him. He is explaining why he has to do. Not the body, spirit, soul, and the activity which does the bodily platform, it will bind him to this material world. Why it is binding? You all can read third chapter, 9th slokas to 9th to 16th. If you read, you will understand how it binds us, everything, material world, our actions. So, better is chant and engage in the Krishna's activities. Then, at the end of the life, Prabhupada says, can go back to Godhead. In sacrifice also, there are three types modes of nature acting on us. So, the sacrifice in the form of ignorance, sacrifice in the form of passion, sacrifice in the form of goodness. That also explained in 13th, 17th chapter. So, how many of you reading Bhagavad Gita? So you have to read, then you'll understand the theme of Bhagavad Gita. Sacrifice, all along what Krishna is saying, everything will able to understand. Otherwise, we'll be hearing and without reading, without chanting, it's difficult. Maybe we'll come and hear a weekend and we go back again, our day-to-day activity, day-to-day sacrifices will start and we'll be pulled into that and we'll not able to realize that I'm not the body. Rather, will be imposed by three modes of material nature. That our thinking will be I am the body. All are my expansions. Then our activity, everything based on their pleasure, my pleasure, everything. Then we'll be in the bound by this material world, not able to escape. So as Prabhupada mentioning, religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at the end is the moksha. So for economic development, what and all we do? We work, earn money, right? Ancient time, what they were doing? Agricultural and cow protection. Now, software engineering and so many other civil, electrical, mechanical, what do you say, jewelry business, that there's so many things are there, right? So if you see that this one now economic development is based on what? It's not for like physical survival. It has become that like a status, prestigious. This one, if I'm working in some company, software, this company, then my relatives, my this one, everybody will respect. Otherwise, I'll not get respect. And otherwise, no, we were in the villages nicely doing agricultural activities and cow protection, peaceful, happy, comfort, everything was there. Now the need is emotional and identity pleasure. We identify ourselves with a status. Oh, what they will think about me if I'm just this one, like somebody is not studied well, they say that you are fit for grass, this one, covering. So Krishna was doing that. So why Krishna has done that? Because he want to what do you say, teach the world how to live peacefully in a very simple way and thinking higher purpose. Simple living and high thinking. What is high thinking? What the in a village ancient time, what they used to do? They'll be hearing in the evening Mahabharat, Ramayana, all the Bhagavad Purana, Dasavadara stories, everything. There will be incidents, everything what had happened in the Vedic incidents that they keep hearing. That way, what happens is they will keep they always in the consciousness. I'm not the body. I'm spirit soul. Now, what's happening? We identify ourselves with body based on the prestige, ego. Ego means what? What is mean by ego? False identity. We identify ourselves with the body so that we think that my surrounding should identify myself as a CEO of the company or a software engineer of this company, like that. So it gives me happiness, pleasure. So we do all activities for the pleasure. So this pleasure will not endure. It just ends when the body is end. But true happiness comes with the soul. That soul happiness can seek or we can have only when we connect with we are Atma, right? Is one more personality. We are Atma. One more personality, Paramatma. So we have to connect with Paramatma. Then only we can have happiness. Just like light is glowing. Why it is connected with the electricity? So electricity is off. What will happen? Light will not be having a power. It will not glow. So Atma has to be connected with Paramatma because we are constitutionally made to be with Krishna, with Lord. So unless we have association of Lord, in when we separated from Lord, we'll be like a no flow will not be there. Like it's just dummy. So it's just this one, just example. Similarly, as I said, our hands and legs are tied at present by material nature. How it is tied? By ignorance. So how to come out of the ignorance? How to come out of the ignorance? Om Ajnana Virandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Takshurun Milidam Yena Dashmai Sri Gurave Namaha. The Guru can give a light. The Guru can give knowledge. So we should accept Guru's instruction as life and soul. And as all, we all know, what is the ultimate instruction Prabhupada has given? Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So all of us chant Hare Krishna mantra and be happy in life. Thank you, Hare Krishna.